Hello everyone. I'm assuming that if you are able to hear me, just give me a confirmation if you are able to hear me clean and clear. I'm waiting for your confirmation.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
That's really good. So, in our previous sessions, what we have done is, in our previous sessions, we have majorly understood our one of the part of Power BI, sorry, one of the part of Excel, that was the visualization part. And in our previous session, we have also tried to understand the rest of it, that is, how to basically uh, to prepare the data using Power Query. And along with that, we have also tried to understand couple of parts when it comes to the Excel functions. And along with that, we have also tried to understand something called as pivot points and how pivot points is used for the visualizations. So, just give me a minute. Here, what are the things that we have covered is mentioned in this particular area. That is. Okay, I will share my screen. I hope everyone will be able to see it. So what we have done is we have majorly understood few parts of the training, which is basically charts, visualization, and everything. So now we have couple of options, how to basically go ahead with the rest. Okay. So this particular session is going to be allocated with something like 6 hours. Okay. And out of which we have majorly covered something called as, something like 3 hours. We have completed 3 hours. Okay. Of this particular, which is something like 50%. Okay. So the next 50% that we are going to utilize, that is the next 3 hours that we are going to utilize. Okay. It will be for the visualization and something called as dashboarding, how to create a Excel dashboard, and along with that, how to use something called as data analysis toolpack. So I'm sorry, I am assuming that in our previous session, we have understood what is meant by the data analysis toolpack and how to use a data analysis toolpack, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So in this particular session, we will be trying to understand the data analysis toolpack in a very detailed aspect. Okay. So today, as we are having the only one single person in this particular room, I would like to take an opportunity so that you can share your screen. Okay. And I will be able to guide you. Will that be fine?
Sure.
I will be stopping my screen share and I will be requesting you to share your screen, and I will be guiding you and you will be doing the things. Okay. How does this work? You can share your screen. Beautiful. You are sharing your screen and I'm able to see the same. Okay. So, Amjad, can you basically open your Excel so that I will be able to guide you further?
Supershow or sample EU Supershow 2010, which one?
For example, Superstore, the bottom one. Beautiful. So can you go to a data? So you have something called as data, right? Here on the top, the ribbon called as data. Sorry, I think it got, yes, data. So now you have something called as solver and data analysis toolpack. Can you see this?
Should I click there?
Sorry?
Should I click there?
Okay, yes, you can click on that particular data analysis toolbar. See, when we speak about data analysis toolpath, we have majorly understood something called as descriptive statistics. Okay, and this particular descriptive statistics, what I'm actually trying to describe, these are some things that we have covered in our previous session. That is measure of central tendency. Okay, and how to basically understand this. So even though if you go for Python, even though if you go for the data analysis toolpath, okay, in both the sections you will be able to see the descriptive statistics, which involves the measure of central tendency, range, standard deviation, measure of variance, all of them will be able to be seen. I hope you have paid some attention on this particular part. If you want, what you can also do is you can go to orders table. There is a specific sheet called as orders table. There is a column called as sales. Okay, you can select the entire column and apply descriptive statistics. And let's try to understand. See, it's absolutely fine, Abhishek. Let's try to think like an analyst. Let's try to see, okay, what this particular data is trying to inform us. Okay, will that be fine?
Fine.
Sure. So in this particular case, okay, you can just close this. Okay, let's see the sales column. There is a sales column, right? Can you go to the sales column, which is in orders table? I think this is the orders table, right? Can you find the sales column? Sales column will be on your extreme right hand side, I assume so. Just have a check. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Sales is here. Okay, beautiful. Now, can you go to data analysis toolpath? So, Abhishek, I just want to ask you if you have data analysis toolpath, let me know. If you don't have data analysis toolpath, please let me know so that I will be able to help you to activate it.
Yes, sir. I've to change the Excel versions yet. I'm not done that. So
No worries. Okay, so you have to click on descriptive statistics and click on OK. See here, what they are actually asking is the input range. So we will provide you the input range. So let's provide the sales column. You have your control and down arrow, the entire row will get selected.
Including sales.
Control shift and down arrow. Beautiful. You have selected the entire column. Okay. So you can click on this once again. You can click on this particular part. Beautiful. So now look at this. Look at this. You have a header and you have also selected the header. Can you bring this particular, I mean, can you drag this here so that I will be able to see? No, 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 don't click on OK. Please don't click on OK. Drag it. Okay, beautiful. So if you see, you are selecting R1 to R triple line 5. Yes. So R1 is the row 1 which contains the column name. Agree with me?
Okay.
So for that specific reason, there is an option here called as, what I can say, labels in first row. You have to click it as on. So if you click this particular thing as on, then look at this particular thing. Okay. So you have this particular thing right here.
Should I click there?
Yes, sir, please. So, and along with that, if you want in a new worksheet, if you want in an existing worksheet, all those sections are available here. Okay, that I want you to have a new worksheet itself. Okay, and along with that, okay, these are the options which are actually available. Number one is
The
summary
new
style
worksheet is automatic selected. Should I click on new workbook?
worksheet. You can click on new workbook or new worksheet. Did you say okay?
it disappeared, sir.
It disappeared. I don't think it got disappeared. Can you find, is there any? No, I don't think so. It got disappeared. Can you click on this once again? So you double click on this. Oh, there is available. Okay, can you see this particular thing? Okay, something got hidden here. Okay, I think, did you double click on it?
Single click, sir.
So if you double click on it, something similar will happen. Please look into this. Okay. So nothing to be worried. Nothing to be worried. I'm here to help you out. Okay, there are multiple options that you can actually do. Okay. Number one, you can just close your Power BI, sorry, close your Excel and reopen your Excel once again. Okay, when you're doing this, there will be a prompt that will pop up. Or else what you can also do is you can use Control and Delete. You can use your Control and Delete. Fine. You can go to an area called as Task Manager. Use your Control Shift and Delete. So did you click on Control Shift Delete?
I did, sir, but
Can you help me? Can you provide me the access? I'm requesting the access for your system. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, this was been hidden. Okay, so now there is some. Let's do something like this. Let's close this. So I'm not able to use the Control Shift Delete. Okay, let me do something like this. Let me go to Task Manager. Find the Excel. So I have the Microsoft Excel here. I'm going to click on this. So the memory is nearly 87%. This is going to be slow. Okay, 147 MB is being used only for Excel. Okay, and along with that, nearly 500, nearly 300 to 500 MB is being used. Look at this. Okay, CPU is reaching 100%. Okay, so this is actually a really bad sign that your system requires a critical, what I can say, attention. Okay, so can you click on Microsoft Excel and click on, because I'm trying to do it, but I'm not able to do it. Okay, I want you to click on Microsoft Excel and click on End Task. Yes, click on it and say End Task. There is End Task at the bottom, right? Can you click on that? Yes. And along with that, you also have a Chrome. Can you also click on Chrome and delete the Chrome? Sorry, you also need to end the task.
I will make it, sir, after the class.
Sure. Beautiful. So now, okay, things will be fine a bit. You can close this particular thing, reopen the Excel once again. So can you go to your orders table? Okay, let's do it really quick. Okay, so I do have the control. So what I will do is I will go to data. Okay, data analysis, descriptive statistics. Now here in the input, I'm just going to provide the entire column. And then I'm just going to say I have the labels, provides column statistics. Got hidden. Again, the same issue. No worries. I think there is a critical issue with your data, sir. Okay, and I mean the Power BI. Okay, due to which, sorry, the Excel, due to which you are having this particular issue. Okay, let's do something like this. Mm, okay, this is really going to be difficult. Okay, if we are, if we are having something like this. Okay, so what we do, because our Abhishek is also not having the Power BI, sorry, Excel, and he won't be able to use Excel as well. And along with that, your Excel is also having some difficulty. Okay, and we have been wasting nearly 30 minutes, so it's nearly 7:30. Okay, so what we can do? Okay, what you suggest me, you let me know.
Sir, one thing, what should be the configurations regarding for this Excel to be supported?
See, Excel to be supported, Excel, if you want Excel,
Hmm.
okay, you need to have at least 8 GB of RAM. So right now, if you speak about any, what I can say, any software that is available in this particular generation, you need a minimum configuration of 8 GB. That's the minimum. Okay,
Yeah,
that is
I have a 8 GB RAM, sir, and
good.
I have the Windows 10 Pro original edition. It's just that this Excel thing I have not been updated. So how can I do it? If it is possible by internet, I'll try. Okay.
So if you have a valid license, or if you have a cracked license, if you have a cracked license, it can be difficult. If you have a valid license, it can be better.
Not sure about that, whether Microsoft version, I think it was a crack version or not. I'm not sure, sir. No, not an issue, sir. I'll get this updated today itself, and so that it won't be an issue in furthers when we'll be doing practical classes.
So basically, there should be 8 GB Windows 10 and Microsoft 2018. This kind of configuration requires
Yes, yes,
2018 MS, right, sir? Because
yes.
I,
Right.
I have 2016, but you can see it doesn't work somewhere.
So if
Mhm.
you are buying a new Microsoft license or something like that, it's really expensive.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I use organizational license, okay, because I own an organization and we have organization license. I have not installed Excel, but I will be able to use Excel on my, what I can say, business. Okay. So, which is a kind of online version where we can actually look into. So what I was actually trying to say is get your Excel. Okay, what I was planning is to explain you the descriptive statistics, and along with that descriptive statistics, okay, I was also planning for dashboard creation as well. Okay, so I don't want people to get into this particular nitty-gritty, or else what we can also do is, we can end this particular session. What we can actually do is we can stop the dashboard creation and we can utilize this particular 3 hours, okay, into the Power BI as well. So even Power BI we can create reports. So reports and dashboard, we will concentrate more on that particular part.
Okay.
So it's completely up to you. Okay. So if you want, hey Sanmesh, I'm really interested, what I can say, learning Excel. So you have to get your Excel. But right now, the majority of the problem what I'm facing here is, so if you basically go to your taskbar, okay, so we have Amzad system. Okay, and if I go to this task manager, okay, and if I look into this, okay, so here the CPU is actually turning out to 100%. This actually happens for multiple reasons. Number one, okay, if there are a lot of cache memory which is actually available, if there are a lot of unwanted applications which are actually open, look at this. There are a lot of applications which are open. Okay, due to which it is actually called a CPU max out. We call it a CPU max out. Okay, this is a situation that we are able to see here. Okay, and this CPU max out is happening not once but multiple times. It is hitting the ceiling not once but multiple times, due to which your system is getting freezed. Please make sure, I want to be transparent here, even though if you are using Power BI or any other technology, okay, so this memory max out and CPU max out is a very critical thing, because your it's like your brain freeze for laptops. Okay, even when you are using Python, okay, it's going to cause problem. Okay, I'm just giving you some idea from my end. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. So let's do something like this. Okay. So let's skip this particular part. Okay. So I will just share my screen once again. You can stop sharing your screen. Thank you very much. I hope you are able to see my screen. So what we were trying to do is we were trying to utilize, okay, this particular part, that is the Excel. So here we have covered only 3 hours. Okay. And along with that, this is not covered. Okay. So for that specific reason, what I'm actually trying to say is, as we have something like 30 minutes. So I want to utilize this particular time to teach you something called as Python basics. Because what we will do is we will try to utilize this particular time understanding the Python. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am assuming that every single person in this particular room do have, okay, Google. Okay. So there is an option called as collab.google.com. Okay. Oh, sorry, what happened? Oh, it's not collab.google. Okay. So if I type collab.google, I will be able to see something called as, this particular area, which is basically Google Collaboratory. See, what I'm actually trying to say, Google Collaboratory. Google Collaboratory means This is an area where you can write your Python codes. Python can also be installed on your system. Okay, the way how I use Python is on command prompt. Okay, so what I do is I have two types of something like Python. Okay, and here I have my Python, something like this. Hope you are able to see I have the latest version of Python, which is December 4, 2023. If you are planning to download Python, you can basically go to Python, python.org. Here you have an option called as download. You will be able to download the Python. So I have the latest file which is available here. So here what I was actually trying to help you out is, when you try to download this particular Python, this particular Python will be available inside your system. So now what I was actually trying to say is, if you are speaking about the Google Colab, so we will be having something called as collaboratory workspace. What is meant by collaboratory workspace? Collaboratory workspace means here we can collaborate with each other. For example, couple of codes I can write, couple of codes Abhishek can write, and few of the codes Amjad can write. So all of us can basically collaborate here. So I have something called as what I can say, untitled. I'm just going to say day 1 Python. So before we proceed ahead, I just want to give you a small overlay here. Okay, Python to have two different what I can say, a file system. There are two types of file systems which are actually available. First is called as .py. Okay, so this is a .py is a file, okay, which is normally used in production. Okay, for example, if you are writing any organizational codes, or if you are developing any what I can say, application or something like that, normally .py file is used, which basically means, for example, if you are saving anything, it will be saved in .py. Second type of what I can say, code, which is second type of format which we can actually save, is called as Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so it is called as Jupyter Notebook, JYP, Jupyter Notebook. So when I speak about Jupyter Notebooks, this is the same Jupyter Notebooks that you are able to see right here. So if you go here, you will be able to download this in two different formats. There is a format called as IPYNB. So this is nothing but your Jupyter Notebook itself. So what is meant by Jupyter Notebook? Jupyter Notebook is a notebook where you can write some text, and along with that you can write some code. See, Python is like your what I can say, a kind of a calculator. You can call it as a bigger calculator. Like I can basically use like 1 plus 1, so 1 divided by 1, and I can even run this particular code. So if I'm going to run this, I will be able to get the output just below this. I can basically use it as a calculator. So I'm just going to type use it as a calculator. And I can also get this particular piece of code on top or on the bottom. Or else I can basically click on this and make it as bold as well. So right now, what I was able to do is I was able to divide 1 divided by 1. I'm able to get it. Similarly, I can also multiply things. Okay, I can divide things. I can also use board mass as well, like 1. Okay, 1 plus 1. Okay, something like this. Okay, so right now it is saying, I'm just going to say multiplication. Everything will be fine. Look at this. So what I was able to do is I was basically add 1 plus 1 and then multiply it with, then I was able to multiply it with 1, something like this. See, let's try to understand what I'm actually trying to do is we can have a calculator like this and use it. Or else what I can also do is I can also use it as a kind of an, I can also use something called as assignment operators. See, what is meant by assignment operators? Assignment operators means you have a is equal to, which is basically an assignment operator.
Sir, we are doing this in Jupyter, right?
Sorry?
We are doing this thing in Jupyter.
Jupyter, yes, you're absolutely right. So that is this particular link, collab.research.google.com. Second thing is called as a variable. See, here what I can also do is I can create something called as variable and I can also create something called as an assignment of. So using these two things, variable is your any variable. Like for example, I want to create a variable called as value. Okay, I can create something called as value and I can say is equal to, and I can say 1. See, what is actually happening is this value is our variable. This is equal to is your assignment operator. And along with that, you also have something called as 1, which is basically your variable. 1 is your variable. Okay. This particular thing that is value. Okay. Which is basically your variable, and this is your value inside this. So what I'm actually trying to help you out is, so if I'm going to run this particular thing, there is, okay, something called as value, okay, and this is going to store this particular amount, that is 1, which I'm actually trying to help you out. So whenever I'm just going to say value here, okay, and if I'm going to run this, I will be able to get an output called as 1. So similarly, what I can also do is I can also do something called as reassignment. See, what is meant by reassignment? Reassignment means, okay, I have a value called as, I have a variable called as value. So what I can do is I can basically provide this value and then call it as 2. So here I'm doing a reassignment. See, this value 1 will be overwritten with value 2 now. So if I'm going to run this, I will be able to 2 as my value. Now I will give you some time. Okay, I want everyone to open your Google Colab, and along with that, I also want everyone to create couple of values. Okay, and along with that, I also want people to basically basically use our assignment operations. If you are facing any specific issue, I'm there to help you out. So you have to go for Google Colab. So you can go to Google and type Google Colab. Okay, you will be able to get Google Colab.
I've
If you are
opened, sir. There is
Abhishek,
a notebook.
you want to share your screen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can share this. Okay, beautiful. So yes, you have an error, right? So you can click on,
Yes.
there is an option called as new notebook here, Abhishek. New
Oh,
notebook.
yeah. Okay.
Click on new notebook. So there is a new notebook that is getting created for you.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a IPYNB. This is basically a Jupyter notebook.
Jupyter notebook.
Yes, 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 yes. And along with this, here in this particular area, you have code and you have text that you can basically utilize.
This release note, should I close it, sir?
Basically close it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, should we start from code or text?
Sorry, code.
Code.
You start writing code.
Okay.
So you can, there is something called a start writing code, right? You can just click there and start writing your code. No, not there, not there. Just bagal mein, just bagal mein. Yes, there, right there. You can use generative with AI as well. So it's a kind of a chat GPT kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So look into my, look into my screen. Okay. I want exactly, okay. I want exactly to click right here. Look at this. Right here. Look at this. You are saying this, right? So go here and start typing. Okay. Go here and start typing. So what is actually happening is you are clicking here, you're clicking here. Okay. I do understand. It's a new interface that you are seeing. Okay. Go here, click here and start typing. Create a variable of your choice.
Sir, it can be like what we can, I mean, variable.
Okay, so let's do something like this. Okay, so here I'm going to create a variable called as 1. I will create a variable called as 10. Let's assume.
Okay.
Okay, variable 2, I will call it as variable 1. So what you can do is you can basically use these two variables like, okay, I am multiplying var1 with var2.
Var2.
Something like this. So choice is yours. You can choose anything of your choice. So here I'm using 1, but you can use 5. It's absolutely fine.
Suppose, sir, when we change the variable, does the value change automatically, or it needs to be generated again?
So no. So when you are saying here, look at this. You have a really good question. When I'm going to say variable as 50, let's assume. So if I don't run it, look at this. If I don't run it and if I keep running this, I will be able to see the old value itself.
Okay.
Unless I'm going to run this and then this. So it's your like step 2, step 3.
Okay.
I hope you are able to.
Yes.
Okay. So what I was actually trying to say is you have these variables, and I'm assuming that everyone are able to understand this particular variable, how it can be used. So please make sure there are a couple of things that you also need to keep in your mind. That is, okay, when you have these kind of variables, there are certain do's and don'ts. Like, I cannot use one var. Look at this. What here? what I was using as var1. Can you see? Here, what I'm using is one var, and then I'm going to say equal to 1. Look at this. Whenever I'm going to run this, I'm going to get an error. Which basically means, okay, the first value that you are going to have always need to be a text. I cannot have even percentage as well. Look at this, percentage var, no. I cannot have any special character, categories or characteristics. Look at this. And along with that, I can even, add something like this. Look at this var special characteristics, and I can basically run it. If I'm going to do that, I'm again going to get a error, which basically means I cannot use any special characteristics anywhere. Either it is going to be starting, either it is going to be ending, or even in the middle. That is something that I want to inform. I hope you are clear on this particular part. Amzad, any questions? Amzad, any questions?
I will try.
Sorry?
I will try, sir. I will do and get some clarity.
Sure, sure. Please do it and get some clarity. I'm waiting for your response.
Sir, I'm getting error. Can you take my?
That's just it. It's been. Yes, you are getting error because the reason is you have not created a variable. Can you go on top? Can you see? Okay, you have not created a variable. That's the reason it is saying, look at this. It's very clear. Python is very smart. It is saying you don't have a variable called as var1. So that's the reason you are getting this error. Got what I'm saying? What you can actually do is you can say var1 and create a variable, and then you create a variable called as var2. You have to create it. Please look into this, what I'm actually trying to say. You have to create it, then you will be able to do that.
Where should I create it?
Sorry?
Where should I create? Where should I type something?
You can click on code, new code. You can click on, okay. So here you can var1 1 is equal to, you can put some value.
Space or without space, sir?
Anything is fine.
Okay. What?
Put some value, sir. Provide some value like 10, 15, 20, 100, 1,000, anything. Okay, anything. Say enter. Just put enter. You create a var2. var2 is equal to, you can provide any value here. You can run it. So now if you run this, you are not going to get any error. Look at this, because you have created a variable. Agree with me, Abhishek? Solanki is able to agree with me, isn't it?
So where the value output came?
Until and unless you are going to run it, you are not going to get any value, sir.
I then.
Here.
Okay.
Abhishek, can you see? I'm actually trying to annotate here. I think my annotation is not working, or how is it? Abhishek, are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
see?
Yes, sir. I'm able to see it's working.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
So, Amzad, can you go here, type var1?
What should I type, sir?
var1.
Var on. Okay.
Run it. To run it, you have to click here, sir. You
Okay.
have a variable called as 100, var1
100.
as 100. So that's the reason you are able to get it. So you can use this, you can use a multiplication sign here or division sign, anything of your choice. And then what you can do is var2. So you are basically dividing it by 100 divided by 200. Basically your 0.5, right? Okay, so you can run this.
Yes. Sir.
So look at this. You are getting it at 0.5.
Got the output, sir.
You
Point.
are able to now understand why you are getting this error. Got it?
Got it, sir.
Because you have not created variables.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it, sir.
Amjad, this particular, what I can say, Python is a case sensitive. So here you are using small v. Try to create a big V and create a variable.
Sir,
Okay.
when we are creating this variable, there shouldn't be any space as such, no? Like var space
Sir,
1 or
Yes, absolutely right.
okay. So
No,
how
no.
exact?
जनाब मैं आपको क्या बता रहा था कि अगर इसको आप कॉल आउट करोगे, मैं आपको वेरिएबल क्रिएट करने के लिए नहीं बोला था, मैंने आपको बोला था कि you have to just create a way, you have to just write var1 with V capital.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. var1, right? var1. Look at this. Here you have small v, here you have capital V, and if you are trying to run this, you will get an error.
Okay. Should I edit this one, sir?
मैं आपको क्या बता रहा था वो आपको समझ में नहीं आया अभी तक. मैं आपको क्या बता रहा था? What I was actually trying to say?
That I have to create variable.
You have created a variable.
Case sensitive, sir. If there is some
It is
little
case sensitive.
difference.
First letter should be capital.
हाँ देखिए, मैं आपको क्या बता रहा था कि अगर आप कुछ ना कुछ यहाँ पे एडिट करोगे, यहाँ पे अगर इंस्टेड ऑफ स्मॉल लेटर्स इफ यू आर यूजिंग कैपिटल लेटर्स, इफ यू आर यूजिंग एनीथिंग एल्स, okay, what you are going to get is an error. That is something what I was actually trying to say.
Okay.
Okay, abhi you have a small v here, you have a capital V here. If you are trying to run this, you will get an error. Got what I'm saying?
All right, sir.
Okay, sure. So now what we have tried to understand is, okay, we have case sensitive issue that is going to be available when we are actually trying to use this. Okay, so that is okay. Anything else or anything out of the box. So as we have understood something called as what I can say, our this thing, what I can say, variable. Now we will try to understand something called as data types. Okay, so when we speak about what I can say, Python, we have something called as data types. So what is data types? Because any single value that you are having, okay, is having a data type. Okay, so what you can actually do is, okay, you can stop sharing your screen so that I can share my screen.
Done, sir.
Just give me 1 minute. Beautiful. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. So What I was trying to do is, I was basically able to type something called as TYP type, and inside the bracket, I was able to use something called as var1. Okay. So when I'm going to do this, there is a data type called as what? There is a data type called as int. So int is nothing but as an integer. So there is a data type called as an integer. Similar to this, okay, there is also a data type. Okay, look at this. There is also a data type called a string. If I'm going to type, okay, in double quotes, okay, if I'm going to type my name, okay, that is Sangamesh. Okay, and if I'm going to run this, okay, there is a data type called a string that is denoted by str string. Similarly, okay, if you have any number with decimal values like 1.1 or something like that, or 1.2 or something like that, which is having some decimal points. So this is basically called as float. Okay, so what are the data types you have? You have something called as integer, you have something called as string, you have something called as a float. So these are the structure of our data types. So there are a lot of other data types as well. We will be discussing all of them in a detailed aspect. Okay. So if I'm going to type data types in Python, majorly we get two parts. Number one is basically called as mutable data types, unmutable data types. But here, if you look into this particular thing, we are speaking about something called as integer, float, and string. And along with that, there are also something called as complex numbers. So if I try to speak about some complex numbers, okay, complex numbers are going to be something like 1J, I5, something like that. So which is a little bit difficult to be identified. So these are the various options how a data can be stored. So complex numbers are numbers like this. Let me show you one of our example. So what I'm going to do is I will go to my Power BI. Okay, and here I'm just going to, okay, so let it be this thing. Okay, I will say type. Okay, and along with that, okay, beautiful. Okay, so these are all the data types, and along with this, there is also another data type like 5J. To look at this. So what I'm actually trying to do is I have a text as well as a what I can say, a number. So when I'm using both of them, in those kind of cases, I will be able to get something called as a complex. Now people can brainstorm when we can actually have an integer, when we can actually have a float, when we can actually have a string. Clean and clear. So a whole number is always going to be an integer. A decimal number is always going to be a float. Any text will be something called a string. Any questions on this? Any questions on this?
String is like, alphabets, and integer is like numbers, and float is like decimal.
Yes, you're absolutely right. What is complex then?
Complex is the, numbers and letters, the mix of numbers and letters.
Agree with you. So these are your data types. But this data can be stored, right? This data can be stored, right? So you can store this particular data in multiple options. So first, you have an option called as list. Okay. So you have an option called as list. What is list? Okay, I can just go here. I can create a variable called as A is equal to, here I can use a command called as list, and I can say 1, 2, 3, something like this. So I have a list of numbers. Okay, A is equal to list, so and so, so and so. If instead of this, okay, instead if I don't want to use this particular list like this, I can also use a big bracket like this. Okay, and create a list. Okay, so I have a variable called as A, which is a list. And if I'm going to use A as output, okay, I will be able to get, okay, 1, 2, 3. And here, if I click on type, 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 and if I'm going to provide the variable A inside this, and if I run this, I'm able to get that this is a list. I hope people are able to get this particular thing. So what I'm actually trying to say is you have data which can be stored inside a list, or else you also have something called as dictionaries. See, what is this particular dictionaries? Okay, let me help you on this. Okay, so what we can actually, so I'm just going to create a variable called as D. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a variable called as A, which is going to have a value as 1. I'm going to create a variable called as B. Okay, and I'm going to denote it by something called as 2. So this is called as a variable. Okay, and this is called as variable, and this is called as key. A is a key, and this is your variable. So if I'm going to run this D, I will be able to see something called as dictionaries. So list is a list of numbers. For example, list of age, list of people, list of something like that, right? So normally we have been dealing with list. So list is something, okay, that we have been dealing from a very long time, and okay, it can consist numbers, it can consist dates, it can consist what I can say, string, anything. But when I speak about a dictionary, when I speak about D or dictionary, so here there are only two parameters. Number one is a key and a value. So A, B, all of them are going to be what? These are called as keys. When I speak about 1, when I speak about 2, these are called as values. Dictionary. Hope you are able to recall. We used to have something called as telephone dictionary, right? It used to have name, address, and phone number. Something like this. Here, if I'm speaking about Abhishek's Solanki's phone number, I will be able to get only Abhishek Solanki's phone number itself. Maybe there might be multiple Abhishek Solankis. There might be a Abhishek Solanki who might be in Uttar Pradesh as well, Madhya Pradesh as well, Delhi as well. So to clarify that, you also have address as well. So Abhishek Solanki from Jabalpur, Abhishek Solanki from Indore, something like this. See, what is going to happen is you will be able to narrow it down and you will be able to get his phone number. So this is how the whole architecture used to be working. Right now, many people do not know there is something called as dictionary, but this is how it can be used. List, dictionaries, and the last part is called as something called as tuples. Okay, so what I can do is to identify, I'm just going to go here, type D, and if I'm going to run this, I will be able to get the dictionary that is basically denoted by DICT. Last but not the least, I have something called as, what I can say, tuples. So I'm going to create a variable called as T, and I'm just going to use a small bracket. And I'm just going to create something called as 1, 2, and 3. See, if I'm going to get this T, I'm having a data type which is in a tuple. Okay. So inherently, if I'm going to say type, and if I'm going to say T, and if I'm trying to run this, okay, I have something called as tuple. Try to understand this. If I have list, it's a list of name, list of person, list of vendors or something like that. It's a list which can be modified as well. For example, if I want to have a different list, okay. So if I want to have different person, if I want to add a new person, all of them can be done. So in a list, we can do this, right? So when you write a list in a newspaper or a piece of paper, you can basically edit it, right? Something similar also here, you can basically edit a list. So for example, here I have 1, 2, 3. I can basically add it, append it. I can do a lot of changes. Similarly, dictionary, for example, you are staying in a specific location like Bangalore or Mangalore or Hyderabad. So tomorrow you try to relocate yourself to Delhi or some other places. So when you relocate, the dictionary is also going to get updated, right? So in your telephone dictionary, we used to do that, right? We used to update our address, update our phone number, right? So you can modify a list, you can modify a dictionary, but you cannot modify a tuple. So this is the major difference. Tuples are set of numbers which are going to be constant. So here, what I can actually do is I can basically say dot append append, append, and I can basically provide something called as what I can say 7, something like this. If I'm going to run this, okay, and if I'm trying to identify what is the output of A, I will be able to get 1, 2, 3, and 7 because I was able to append the data. Similarly, if I want to append, I can basically append this particular, what I can say, dictionary as well. But the major problem here is when I basically try to append here, it won't be possible. I will say 8. It won't be possible because tuples are constant. Look at this. These are immutable data types. So there are 2 types of data types. One is called as mutable data types and second is called as immutable data types. And when we speak about immutable data types, okay, tuples are the one. So tuples can be used as a constant or static data, okay, or like parameters or these kind of things, which do not tend to change on a frequent basis. I hope people are able to understand what I'm actually trying to say. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this particular, what I can say, collab, this thing, what I can say, link with everyone so that you can use it further. But please make sure, I request everyone that, you have to put your efforts from your end as well. Okay. So what I'm actually trying to say is, okay, so we are exactly right here where we have understood what is meant by value, what is meant by type, and what is meant by variables. And along with that, we have also tried to understand a very small part of Python and its application. We have not discussed in a very detailed aspect. We will be discussing them in a very detailed aspect going ahead. Okay. So in our next session, we will have an overview on Python. We will try to understand what are the different applications of Python, and along with that, we will be trying to understand conditional formatting, command line argument, and all of them in a detailed aspect. Okay. Any questions, you can let me know, or else we can end with it.
So basically, we have the task to update the MS
Sorry.
Access,
Okay, yes.
and the second one is collab.google. We have to work on collab.google for
Mhm.
practice.
Yes.
One is we have to download Python as well, right, sir?
You can download Python or you can skip Python. For example, if you don't want to use Python, you want to use only Google Colab, you can go for it.
Okay, Google.com. All right, sir.
Okay, that is it.
Thank you.
But Abhishek,
Sir, this Python is used for generating codes, right?
we'll be discussing that in our next session. Okay, so we
Sure.
have the Python we will be discussing. Today we
Okay.
start at something like 7:30, right, on Python. So 30 minutes of here and there has been, what I can say, misplaced. We'll try to cover it in our next session. Okay,
No problem, sir. Yeah, sure.
have a great day, Shalavi. Bye.
Same to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Amjad.
गांड मार दिया गांड मार दिया गांड मार दिया